2025, we're here on the second day, and I have with me Dr. James Ong. Welcome, thanks so much. And Dr. James is from Singapore, and he is a professor, and he's with the Artificial Intelligence International Institute, AAA. And he's written this great book published last year called AI for Humanity. Thanks. I'm looking forward to reading this book. Thank you very much. Are you enjoying the conference here?
Yes, thank you. Yes, first of all, thank you for the interview and the invitation. I also enjoyed the conference. Just give a keynote today. Fantastic. Also signed an MOU yesterday as well.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. So I understand the book, and what you're talking about is that as cities become more connected, more faster, more smarter. The question is that do we then lose sight of what a city is for? A city is for the people, right?
That's right.
So, is there a danger that we fail to appreciate the fact that people live in the city? What do you think?
Yes, actually, that is the topic of my keynote today. Basically, talking about how do you design a city so that it's for everyone. So that is very much related. So a lot of the smart city today are designed for quickly deploying technology like IoT and AI solution, chatbot. The first KPI is about cheap and good, right? Fast, how to make it more efficient. So typically that is the thing. But I think that is just beginning of the smart city. What you're seeing today is what I call the tip of the iceberg. There are many things below the line. So other than building the infrastructure, collecting the data, building system for application, we need to start designing, like what my book talk about for AI for humanity, we need to design for human-centric kind of services. As part of it, there are also benefits and so-called things that are hidden, subliminal, as well as unintentional. So those are the things we need to watch out for in the building a smart city. I can elaborate more later on.
Yeah. Sure. So is there a particular framework that will help policymakers think through how they go about deploying AI and technology in the city?
Okay, if in the broader context, in my book I talk about basically you need to balance, take a balancing approach for sustainable development of AI, which is to balance technology itself, the commercialization, as well as the governance. So leaders who are involved in designing a smart city needs to be aware it's a balancing act. It's not just about commercialization, it's not just about the greatest technology, you also need to balance your governance, but you cannot overdo the governance as well so that you're not innovative. So that judgment call is where we need to train leader with background in AI for humanity so they know how to go about doing it. So there are a framework to do that according to my book. Yeah.
So I understand the three areas, right? I mean, it's important to strike a balance, but that's always the toughest part, right? And governments wanting quick. They want quick results. Many of them think in one political cycle, only done before the next election. How do you respond to that? How do you actually have a framework that can get new results at the same time satisfy certain budget requirements or policy requirements?
You're asking me a very, very tough questions. My answer would be that we need very good benevolent leaders who first of all need to understand AI technology, but in fact they need to understand the philosophy of AI, which is AI for humanity. So that part they need to know. At the same time, while they are doing all these things, I think they need to exercise good judgment. And good judgment means that they have to understand the layer by layer of the priority, right? So to a certain extent, we need leaders who wants to do the right thing rather than just doing it right to get the outcome that they want, basically.
Yeah. So let's say they have the good intentions. They have good intentions, they have good motivations, and they're kind of understanding things. But again, it's still not easy. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit on your framework in terms of, let's say we have a person, leader listening to this conversation. What's the 1, 2, 3 they need to kind of do or follow to get it right?
Okay. I would say that as a leader or politician, when you design and make decisions for a city, for the citizen, right? You have to also think about how does it affect you and your family. So whatever.
Give us an example. Crystallize that. Is there a specific
For example, very good example.
Yes.
Right now, you know the proliferation of AI chatbot, right?
Sure.
You're using ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and many of them, right? And there are a certain group of the population or citizens who are vulnerable. Young children who are AI native, who are younger than 10 or to be born. It could be your children. It could be your grandchildren as well, right? So they need to be protected. Just like what happened to the internet, mobile internet, gaming, social media that happened in 20, 30 years. Except the amplification by AI will be much bigger. So there will be one vulnerable group that you need to take care of. And every family, every individual, whether politician or not, you have children and grandchildren or immediate family members. There are other people that are vulnerable are like elderly. Right now with all the deep fakes, they are actually very vulnerable to the cyber crime as well. So again, that is another category. And third category, that some people actually have some sort of a mental health they do not know issue. So these are people also are very vulnerable to the AI deployment.
Yeah. So what I hear from you is that we need to take into account the vulnerable in society, whether they're young, whether they're old, or those who are specific challenges that they face, right? We can't just think about the mainstream fully capable, right? And we kind of need to build a holistic policy. So that again, is something that I'm sure our government wants to achieve. But they are faced with budget constraints. If we do extensive testing and trying to fulfill the needs of every group, it may take 3 years to deploy, whereas they want it in 6 months. How do you think that through? How do you juxtapose the different priorities and still get it right?
Again, I think a good leader will know the risk of deploying something fast, and then you actually bear the liability as well. So there's no right and wrong answer depending on the context of your deployment. If you are deploying for traffic control in a smart city, there's one category. If you are deploying for education, now, if you traffic, maybe it's a bit unfair. Some people are not getting the benefit of the distribution of the traffic flow. But education for young, it might be a point of no return. Children who are educated for 5, 10 years, they become teenager is no longer reversible. So these are things that you have to exercise as the so-called as a leader. That's why leaders today not just have to know about AI, they need to understand what is AI for humanity.
Definitely. Can you give us an example of what you saw was a good deployment?
A good deployment, I would say right now, in different education sector, they are taking different approach.
Which countries?
In Singapore. Actually, there are some, yeah.
So give an example from Singapore.
Yeah, Ministry of Education are deploying all kind of solution. They're actually spending time analyzing it first.
Describe the solution for us.
Describe the solution. I think they will probably look into solution where they're actually making sure that the children are not using AI that is not so-called that are not done with the guardrail, basically. Yeah.
So you're saying that the Singapore government has been able to deploy a solution?
They will build solution that is intended for the...
is it already done or is it coming up?
I think in the process of doing it. The policy is coming down.
Is there anything that you've seen that's already done that's saying this is right, this is how it should be done?
I think it has been done. I think even for company, they're only deploying things that they can control at the moment.
Yeah. So we have not really seen much being done outside that really is a good example.
Yeah, I think in the public side, people are actually in the process of figuring out.
It's still in the process.
Yeah, of course.
But early days.
Yeah, there's still a lot of conversation going on.
Yeah. I think many cities face the pressure for AI for gains, right? How can leaders balance this pursuit of progress, as I mentioned, and also to involve the community in the design? Do you think that the government leaders should really go back to the community and ask them about the design?
Yes, I think there has to be some survey needed. Today, actually, in my presentation, I talk about it, where actually there is a research project by ERIA, actually looking into a very comprehensive survey to actually solicit feedback from different countries in ASEAN right now.
Yeah. So you're saying that the government should conduct surveys to the public,
yes,
understand their needs. There are a lot of needs today, like for example around housing, right?
Yes.
So how can you see AI being used around housing?
I actually have not done much in the area, but I would say depending on the context of what city you're at, basically. And I think different cities are also at different stages of development. And I think some cities are more mature in terms of the housing needs, some are less so. And then depending on what stage, the transportation also related to the housing as well. It's not just where you live, but how you get in and out of the where you live.
Yeah, that's also very critical.
Yes, correct.
So do you see a lot of cities in Asia kind of jumping on the AI? Do they have the proper governance structures already set up?
I think right now, if you ask me, in Southeast Asia, most of the government who are deploying are actually more cautious than ever. I think in certain more advanced countries, they are more pushing harder on the adoption or creation of the AI technology, but they may have bigger implication that is beyond the border they may not think about, because it may not be suitable for certain country with a lower level of literacy.
Which city do you think is doing a really good job moving forward? If our audience would like to see an example of a city, which do you think is a reference city?
I think city like Singapore is doing quite well. I was in China as well. Shanghai, they are actually quite concerned about that. There's actually very clear policy and implementation to do so. I think I'm very sure that in some of the European cities, they are doing a good job on that as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's been really interesting. I think that I look forward to reading your book on AI for humanity, building a sustainable AI for the future. Are you going to be writing another book, Dr. James?
Well, we'll see. There will be potentially books on AI leadership that we talk about, and I'm also learning as we go along and uncovering use cases, some of them you have raised earlier. But we're actually taking this to the United Nations as part of the book and advocacy. We want to bring AI for humanity to be established as the United Nations SDG goal number 18.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's part of the advocacy. In fact, it's part of the learning process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I assume that if our audience wants to know more, they can visit your organization's website.
They can really go to Google and search for my name and AI for Humanity to find it on Amazon.
Yeah. And I'm sure they can find a lot of information from your think tank, right? Your Artificial Intelligence Interaction Institute.
Yes, they will find.
It's a privately run think tank.
Yes, they are available on website. Okay. You're welcome. Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us, Dr. James. I hope you spend the next day and a half walking around, seeing interesting and seeing how AI is developing for humanity. And I'm very happy that you joined us and given us a keynote speech at the conference.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Really. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.